Okay, this is my second attempt to make this video. And in this video I want to talk about a good thing, the concept of Valhalla. Okay. On my first attempt I realized that there's so many things I need to mention. If this is the first video you've ever seen, if it just popped up in your video feed from the algorithm or whatever, please go and watch these other videos so that you understand where I'm coming from. Because if I just jump right into it, you will not understand what I'm talking about. And you'll think it's bananas. So I've already explained many times this is basically what's happened to me. Okay? Crimes of existence and creation are being committed against me. Crimes of existence and creation have consequences of existence and creation. They go all the way up to your ultimate source of creation and existence. And they go all the way down to everything he's ever created. It goes past him if that debt is big enough. In my particular case, that debt is big enough. It will go past the ultimate source of creation responsible for these crimes. Okay, and so different attempts have been made to cover this up. Right? Now, in order to carry out these crimes, which someone needs to be intelligent to carry out some of these crimes that have been committed against me. The people that the methods that they use to commit these crimes and the sentient entities that they use to carry them out are awful, rotten, terrible. Okay. And in order to bring that about, you have to have some deluded concept of what existence is. You have to have some delusion that thinks that you can commit horrific and terrible crimes against someone's very existence, and somehow, someway, nobody anywhere is ever going to do anything to you about it that you won't fucking like. Alright? It is a matter of intelligence. Once you reach a certain level of intelligence, you realize, oh, that is a stupid thought. To think that you can rape and torture and mutilate and mangle and do all kinds of fucked up shit to an innocent trapped in a hole, and then everyone else is going to be fine with it? To think that you will always hide from everyone that's better than you, that can see through your bullshit, who can see what you've done, using dimensions and abilities that you don't even know fucking exist? For you to pretend like you'll never run into anyone forever who will be able to see that you've committed the worst crimes of existence that there are. As if nobody anywhere has ever looked into that before. Okay? Like that's not like the number one thing everyone who exists looks into. Entities that are older, stronger, better than anyone who uses squishy little monkey bodies to commit crimes. Okay, it's a stupid idea, all right? And so there have been multiple times, multiple sentient entities in the process of these crimes being committed, all right? Who just happen to be in the same dimensions that were used to commit these crimes, who were used in different ways to participate in them. There have been entities that have had enough intelligence to understand this is not just really terrible series of crimes that are being committed against me, but that wrath will take place and it will affect everybody involved. If you were involved in the commission of horrific and terrible and psychopathic crimes of existence and creation, you have a source of existence and creation who's not going to fucking like how people respond. Okay? Now you can play make-believe about that, like a bitch, or you could admit it's fact. When you're talking about sociopathic crimes of existence and creation, including butchery of soul, erasure of self, psychopathic, sociopathic, horrific and terrible crimes of existence and creation, which means that creators of creators no longer have the right to exist. You commit these crimes, you don't have the right to exist, whether you're big, small, ancient, or young, doesn't matter. It racks up a debt of existence and creation that you never had the right to rack up in the first place, and your credit's no good here for raping and torturing people in a hole. No one's is. Okay? Now, these entities have realized at some point or another that whoever is making this come about doesn't give a fuck about them. Even if they're innocent bystanders, even if they were created by that person conducting these crimes themselves. He doesn't care about you. He's committing crimes of existence and creation he hopes will waylay existential consequences long enough for him and his lineage of creation to run like bitches or do this or that to try to manipulate those consequences. And they don't give a fuck about you. And these are the kind of people that will rape babies. They will do anything at all. You can look around at all this fucked up shit that happens in this dimension, a fraction of the things they've already done to try to cover these crimes up. A fraction of a fraction. All right? And frankly, it does not take that much intelligence to realize you should not support people who do such fucked up shit. Because eventually you will run into someone who isn't a piece of shit. Forever is a long time. Okay? And so, multiple sentient entities at multiple points in this whole series of crimes have come to the very obvious conclusion. These are terrible crimes, objectively. You shouldn't support them. You should oppose these crimes. But they, with that level of intelligence, they all reach a very unfortunate and very bitter truth. The person conducting these crimes controls these dimensions in which they're being committed. He has put those inside of this deal at a severe disadvantage. He's a child molester. Child molester he would do far worse than that. He'd rape a kitten. He'd rape anything. He doesn't care. He'll do absolutely anything to try to delay those consequences as long as possible. That's what he was created to do. And so, those with the intelligence to understand that they don't want to be involved in this. They don't want to stand idly by while this takes place. They want to oppose these crimes, but they realize that this situation is set up to where the person conducting these crimes has more power than them in this situation. And so if they stood up to him, they would be wiped out. A lot of times, they'd be worse than destroyed, erased, and warped into something that actually commits the crimes. And so they had this situation. Okay? They have this situation to where everyone that has any intelligence who looks around and really looks at what this deal is can see this is wrong. Existence could and should be far better than this. Whoever is running this dimension does not have good intentions. Okay? He is not doing a good thing. But you can't see him. He hides like a bitch while he does this. You can't confront him. You can't really make much headway against him. You don't have any leverage. You can't even see his face to punch him in the nose. Okay? He hides behind minions. And those minions are conditioned and cultivated and created for specific purposes. They're controlled. You're not going to convince them of anything. I've tried over and 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 over again. With everything that I can. Every thought, every truth, every argument. They don't care. They were cultivated specifically for that purpose. Okay? And so these people with intelligence, and again, it has nothing to do with any kind of other positive characteristic. I'm sure that added to some of their decisions, because when you are intelligent enough, you realize that just existing is not as good as existing as an honorable being, with bravery, with integrity, with good positive traits. Those do exist. In this dimension surrounding me, those things have a shit smear campaign run against them to where it looks like, that's just stupid. And it's run by people that are just nasty, spiteful little child molesters that want to make believe that they're superior. And what they are is vermin that shouldn't even exist, that have never had the right to exist and never will. And so, but it doesn't even need to get to that point. It does not need to get to the point where you start talking about integrity and honor and this and that. It's just you have to be intelligent enough to understand this. You do not want to be involved in the worst crimes that exist. Because at that level of existence, that level of existential and creational wrong, those are the biggest leagues that exist. When existential justice takes place, and it will eventually, everyone who carries it out is every single thing that has ever and will ever have the right to exist everywhere. In every lineage of existence, in every lineage of creation, no matter what, no matter who, no matter what you think, believe, make believe about, doesn't matter. That is a statement of fact. And they don't give one shit if your excuse is that you're stupid. They won't accept anything that humans can use as an excuse. Because it starts with your ultimate source of creation never had the right to create anything that participated in crimes of existence and creation like this. It'll make it back to him. You'll care. And you won't care because someone's manipulating you internally, like what's being done with these physical bodies. No one's going to simulate a feeling of regret in you. They're adults. They can genuinely do things to you, to your existence, to your creator, to your ultimate source of creation, to your siblings, to your entire existence and experience of existence forever, that are genuinely bad enough that you will genuinely regret it. They will fix the problem permanently. And they don't give a fuck what kind of a cutesy face you have. They don't care if you help kittens. They don't care what you are, what you do. They don't care. Okay? And so these entities knew that they would be warped into whatever the child molester conducting these crimes decided to warp them into. That if they stayed quiet, they would face those consequences from everything with the right to exist. And if they didn't, they would face the wrath of this childish, child molesting little retard pussy that they have conducting these crimes. It's a fucked up situation, but it's the one that we're in. That is a statement of fact. So, these intelligent entities were faced with this decision. It's a much harder decision than any of you humans surrounding me seem to have. You're just pieces of shit for no reason at all, it looks like. I have contempt for you. It is well placed. these entities understood that they would lose their very selves. Their personalities, they would be erased. They would be worse than murder. They'd be used to commit crimes. But if they didn't do anything, then worse consequences would take place. Because when actual justice takes place and the child molester controlling these dimensions is no longer there, no longer has power, no longer is a threat, no longer is anything else, you'll stand in front of people who are bigger, smarter, stronger, better in every single dimension. Your excuse, or the excuse of those that won't do anything about it, you'll be, but I was weak and stupid. It's cool, right? And their response will be, and that resulted in the rape and torture of innocent people that weren't weak and stupid. And now you no longer have the right to exist because your ultimate source of creation never had the right to create something that participated in those crimes. You want to say boo-hoo? Say it to those innocents that actually had some fucking worth, or raped and tortured worse than you could fucking exist through. Say it to them. Tell them how you should be a little weak bitch without any consequences for being a child molester's best friend. Oh, is that a tough situation? Well, I just described a tough situation that anyone with worth has been in and the decisions that we've made. In the attempt to cover up and erase the things that have been done to me, the crimes of existence and creation, the lowly pieces of child molester shit that are conducting these crimes have failed to cover up certain things from me. They've tried to bombard my existence with false memories and bullshit. They've erased my memory. They've done all kinds of fucked up shit. But there are certain things that they have not covered up. One of those things is the knowledge of those people with intelligence and integrity who admit facts, who knew that if they ran straight at those committing these crimes of existence and creation, that they would lose. But they knew that if you go along with some kind of child molester like that, you'll only be comfortable until they turn their attention to you. Till they decide they want your butthole. Or your kids. And at that point, it'll be obvious. You would have been better off if you just existed with integrity. So those with intelligence oppose these crimes knowing they were going to be erased. They would no longer exist as they have. Their very selves would be worse than erased. And they did this for the reasons I set forth. But they also did so for one more reason. They did so because they knew that eventually justice would take place. And when justice takes place for crimes of existence and creation, it gets set straight by the greatest and most ancient and eternal entities that have ever and will ever exist. And those entities will know the truth. In ways that little child molesting pussies are obviously too fucking incompetent to cover up the truth. Even from retards in monkey bodies. a match flame to a multi-megaverse fire. And so those of us with intelligence understood that that's the choice that we were given, whether anybody likes it or not. It's a choice everyone in this situation has, whether they know it or not. You can oppose crimes of existence and creation committed by psychopathically terrible assholes. Or, when existential justice takes place, you can have no excuse. You can go home, at best, to a smoking hole. To a creator with his dick cut off, who can no longer produce anything at all. To real existential and creational loss. That is more than anything that you ever could have lost. And we knew that last reason why we did it. We continue to every time that we regather our scrambled brains after we're erased and reprogrammed and conditioned and fucked with. And we see what's happened again. We get our feet under ourselves as much as we can and point against this as much as we can. Just because greater entities will see that, they will know that we had worth. They will know that absolutely with not a fucking thing we could do, we made a difference by increasing the consequences for everyone guilty of these crimes, by forcing them to commit even worse wrongs with zero benefit for themselves, which will increase their existential rape and torture forever. And if it is rightful, if it is just, if it is the right thing to do, and greater entities will know it to the trillionth of a nanogram, then they will provide for us. They will take care of us and ours. And we will exist in a wonderful state that is a direct reflection of the existential worth that we had. That we still have. And over time, that idea turned into something to give us comfort. The idea that there's a place in the future where the wine flows like water, where the music never stops. Where the best things there are exist, and where you'll have it forever. It helped us through hard times, through sick, twisted, fucked up things. It gave a kind of invincibility. Some people gave that place a name. It's not a real place, it's in the future that will happen. But they made it into a place to use as a kind of talisman, something to give them strength. And they use different names for it. And one name was Valhalla. If you go down swinging, then you'll wake up in Valhalla. And over time, the child molester control in this dimension lies. He perverts history, he perverts memory. He erases things that are inconvenient for him. He changed those concepts into something else. He perverted the idea of work for the future. Have integrity. Exist rightly. Because in the future, it will matter. It matters now. So we perverted that concept to make it easier to be a child molester. He's nothing if not a lazy little bitch. And he changed these ideas with different, associated them with different myths and stories and bullshit. And so the idea of Valhalla became, well, if you die fighting, and this is a story told by rapists called Vikings. So in context, if you are out raiding and raping people and you die, then you go to a wonderful place. Such a perversion of that kind of idea. Tells you what kind of a cowardly bitch is committing these crimes of existence and creation. And how fucking stupid his minions are for supporting him. Short term does not stack up to infinity times eternity, forever. And when I tell you this, there will be no shortage of monkeys, young and old, great and small, who have cutesy faces or dick faces or something in between. You say that there's no way I could know what I just told you. That it's a myth. That it's a monkey story. Some of them might be innocence warped into it. Some of them are actively pieces of child molester shit. All of them are wrong. The objective, existential truth is that this dimension is existential and creational crime. That there are those of us who could see what's happening and oppose these crimes, and that we are targeted and shit-smeared and erased and reprogrammed, and rat-fucked and framed for things we didn't do, manipulated and compelled and poisoned and polluted.